Okay. Good evening, everyone. How are you doing today? Good evening, online. So before I start, I want to wish you a very happy New Year, and may this New Year brings you a lot of success. And if you are younger, I bless you to get the job soon, right? And then bang on this AWS and DevOps. Yes. Happy New Year. Cool. Fantastic. Okay. And I should really appreciate you guys taking time and joining the class, because I understand today is January 1st, and that too evening. You might have a lot of plans, but still, I think the expected count was today is a little bit low compared to yesterday because of January 1st. Um, but we should definitely move on, right? So because most of the people came here to listen to the class, correct? So I just wanted to ask, uh, who is that Ontari Sunita? Hey, really tell me, someone is, do you remember that joke? Huh? OS? Yeah. All right. So, yeah. Yeah. I hope that she is not my college mate, right? You take jokes very seriously, huh? Yeah. Fine. All right. So I just wanted to ask one thing here. I know here most of my all you 99% are old students only. Just wanted to ask, uh, are there any students here in online, those who were not my student before? Just put yes. And those who don't know AWS. Okay. Okay. So I think there are quite few people where these people are new. Um, so those who are not my preferred students, they're very quite few new. Okay. So I just wanted to give you a one small heads up on the basics, because as I said, this is purely DevOps course where I'll not be covering the AWS much, to be honest. And also I told you that if you want to know full-fledged of, if you want to learn full-fledged of AWS, so please grab on my new batch when time comes, or else you can reach admin for the 9 a.m. batch in the morning. So because this is as purely it is DevOps, I will not be concentrating much on AWS. Okay. So just to just to recap on the basics. So most of the people might know the basics that I have already taught you in our AWS classes. So quick revision on that, because I want to know those basics are still with you or not. Okay. So online people, those who are new, so please concentrate. So I'll be covering little bit of basics today that you know already, my old students, right? So let me, every day, for every batch that I start with this concept called client server architecture. Remember, right? So what is client? Which request a resource. Remember all those days, all those old golden days, right? So see here, yes, Srihita, and there are many people, what they say is client is a customer. So we are not talking about the customer point of view, because customer point of view, who will take care of it? Business people will take care of it. We don't take care of it at all. So technically, Client meaning which request a resource, because we are learning here technical part. For that reason, client meaning which request a resource. And what is server? Which respond to that resource. So this is client. So what is an example that we took, Nana, here? Do you remember? Browser. And what we have here? Server. So this is client and this is server. This might be very basics because I just wanted to make everyone in the same boat, because there are so many people new are there. For them, let's go with for little bit basics for them, okay? So that they feel happy that everyone are in the same page. So browser, which request a resource. So what is a client here, Nana? Which request a resource. And what is a server? Which respond to the resource. Online new people, Nana, this is for you especially. So here, whenever you take your laptop, generally you open the browser. Whenever you open the browser, what do you type? You type google.com or any other website. So where does it go? You are requesting a resource, and where does it go? It will go to the server, and server, what it does? It will respond. What does it, Nana? Server will respond. So this is called here client, and this is called here server. Very basic. If you take any technology, it can be DevOps, AWS, Java, .NET, data science, any technology that you take, the first thing that you should know clarity is what is client and what is server. So client meaning what, Nana, here? Which request a resource. Maybe you can ask, sir, client meaning the customer who give us project. That is customer and client, which is from the business point of view. Are you going and talking to the customer to get the business? Not you people, you experience. So experienced people like me, those who are having more than 15, 18 years of experience, they will be going to the customers and then beg for the project. We don't beg, but literally. So yeah, so what we do is we will go and convince them and get the projects based showing our strengths. So, but you no need to worry about the business point of view. So technically you need to work in the project. So technically meaning client meaning here, which request a resource. So which is the example that we always take as an example here for the client? Browser. So you take the browser, you request a resource, and then the other end server will be there who will be responding it. And then do you remember how many client server architectures are there? How many? 3. What are those? So 1 tier, 2 tier, and then 3 tier. So now 1 tier meaning, are we using 1 tier? No. So 1 tier meaning, if you remember, there will be only one device. There will be only one device. In that same device, we have client, and the same device will act as a server. So can anyone can access from outside this any application? No. So that is basically one tier architecture. This architecture will not be used much in the companies. So that's why I said one tier architecture is dead. Yes, Hussein, we are talking about client server architecture. So what is the problem here, Nana? Keeping the client and server, they both are in the same device or same device. What we need to do now? Separate. What we need to do now? Separate. If you separate, then what will happen? You have the client layer and then you have the server layer. So client will be only one, na multiple la. Clients will be multiple. And here in the back end, what we have the server. So guys, new people, my old guys already knows this concept. They are pros. They are genius on this topic already. New people. So I'm just going for your convenience purpose. Okay, please concentrate. So these are all the clients that we have. Client. And what is this done here? This is a server. What do we have in the bottom? Hardware. On top of it, what we have? Operating system. On top of it, what we have? Applications. So here we have hardware. If you take any machine, on top of it, what we have? OS, operating system. On top of it, what we have done here? Application. What we have here? Application. And then we have a database. So obviously what we do, application will be connected to the database or not? Application will be connecting to the database. And all these clients will be connected to the server. Correct. So all these clients are connecting to the server. So keeping your application database the same machine is a good method or bad method? Bad. So is it good to keep application database on the same machine? Answer is no. Why? Assume that you have some 4 GB RAM. How much GB RAM? 4 GB RAM. So application, remember I used to say dhamki, right? So application will tell to the operating system that, hey operating system, I need 2 GB RAM. And the database also will say, I need also 2 GB RAM. Right? And what they do, they will fight with each other. Fight for what, Nana? Fight for resources. Fight for what here? Resources. As they are busy with fighting with each other and customer is trying to access your application, will the server will respond to the client? Answer is no. For that reason, what is the effect that you get? The performance will be low or high? Low performance. Or we can call it as here bad performance. And many people also call it as what? Server issue, server hang, etc., server down, all these things they'll say. Yes or no? So this is, how many layers are here? 2 layers. This is what layer in here? Client layer. And this is what here? Server layer. Correct. SBI example. Guys, you remember examples also, huh? Nice. Okay. So I should really appreciate your patience, my old people, old students, because as there are so many people didn't turn out due to January 1st, for that reason, I'm just going with the basics. Otherwise, I have today's topic, which is completely on the DevOps topic, but no problem. One day, let's have some recap on what we have learned. Okay. Thank you for understanding. Okay. So this is what tier here? This is called 2-tier. Which one is this? 2-tier. In 2-tier, how many layers are there? 2 layers, client layer and then server layer. And also, is it secure or not secure? Is definitely not secure. Why it is not secure? Because if any hacker hacks it, both application database, they both are in the same machine. They both are in the same machine. That's the reason why both application data and the database data will get hacked if you have both on the same machine. So that reason it's not at all recommended to have application database both on the same device. So for that reason, what we do now, we will separate. What we do now, we will separate. If you separate, then how many layers it will form? 3 layers. What are those 3 layers? Yes. Fantastic. But let me introduce few things here, which you don't know. Okay. So all these are all what here? Clients. And what we have here? Server. I'm not writing all these definitions now, you know, right? So, but I'm just, this is what? Database server. And obviously, what they have in the bottom? Hardware, on top of it, OS. What server is this, Nana, here? This is application server. And this is what? Database server. This is database server. And what here you have a hardware, and this also you have a hardware. On top of it, what we have? Operating system. This concept is important. Please, if you have already learned also, that's good. But let me introduce you this again. Okay. So now what we have here, we'll put what? Application. And here what we put? Database. And both servers, they have their own individual capacity or not? So they have their own 4 GB RAM and then 4 GB RAM. So, and obviously all these clients are getting connected to whom? Application server. And application server is getting connected to database server. Oh, perfect in paints, huh? Client, 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 and then client. Okay, no. And then we have here application server. And this is can you tell me one example of database server? It can be MySQL, MS SQL, anything. Here it can be any application. Applications can be developed in any kind of the language. Example, Java, Python, it can be anything. Okay. Okay, now see all the customers, all the clients are getting connected to the application server, and application server will talk to whom? Database server. And database server will respond back to the application server. And I'm not talking here about what is IP and all, because it is very, very funny if I talk about IP address and all. You know, right? What is IP address? It's a unique identifier for a device in the network. Remember, it's a unique identifier a device for unique identifier for a device in the network. Every machine will have its own IP address and then host name. Remember, when we launch EC2 instances, for EC2 instance, we have the IP address and also we have a host name. Host name is nothing but DNS name. You can connect to the EC2 instance. Guys, EC2 instance is nothing but it's a virtual machine. We'll talk about that also, right? So if you want to connect to that server, you are connecting using the IP address and you are also connecting with the DNS name. Anything is fine. Okay. And here, the question here is, if you remember this application server, whatever we have done so many projects in AWS before, this application server, we kept it in public or private? Private. We kept it in what? Private. Did we expose to internet this application server anyways? Definitely no. So definitely they will be in the which network here? Private network. And obviously database is also in the private network. So here we call it as application server, or also called as app server. And here also we call it as database server or DB server. Here application meaning mana, here it can be developed in Java, Python, in any kind of, we call it as here back. So who will work here? We call it as backend developers. Who is that? Backend developers. So let me introduce few things. Backend developers. So all the programming will be happening here. What is happening here? Programming. So assume Java developers. So Java developers has developed the application and they have given to us, and we will deploy that here. If you remember, can you tell me one example of application server? What software that we install there? Okay. Okay. Now, what is Apache? What is Tomcat? Answer. Which one? Okay, let's talk. What is Tomcat? Tomcat is application server. Apache is okay, that is okay. That example, but what is that called? Which holds the application. Tomcat also holds the application. Then what's the difference between these two? Exactly. What is that called? Web server. What is that called? You are not telling that word, web server, right? Okay, good. So Nanak, here, this is called application server. In our DevOps, we'll be using, which is that? Tomcat. Say that. So Tomcat is the application server, which will very famous Most of the companies they are using here Tomcats, and most of the Java applications will be deployed into the Tomcat only. So in our DevOps, mostly I'll be giving a separate class only for Tomcat. How to set up Tomcat, how to deploy applications in the Tomcat, how to configure, how to create users, everything will be learning separately for the Tomcat. Okay, now what we have here in applications as server, what is an example that we took here? What is the application that we took here in a Tomcat? Okay. So the question here is application server is in private network, but my customers can connect to the private network? No. So what we need to have here? So now I want you to come up with that. What we need to have here? Yes. Here what we have? We need to have a load balancer. But we also call it here web server. What is that here? Web server. Do you remember in our AWS classes, we haven't set up the web servers because web server is replaced with load balancer. Web server is replaced with load balancer. Okay, good. Either you can keep web server also, you can keep load balancer, both also you can keep. No problem, we can keep both also. I'll tell you in which cases that we will put it, these two things. See here. So obviously, whenever someone is hitting our application, to whom it will touch first? Load balancer. Unnecessary, I'll put big things here. Huh? Okay, so load balancer. This is my load balancer. Online, can you just put a message who don't know what is load balancer? You just put no problem, online people. I'm just asking who don't know what is load balancer. Just put me, I'm there to explain for you, but I just wanted to know. Pratiksha, I know you, ma. So you are, you didn't join 9 a.m.? Okay, Hussein, Pratiksha, and who else? There are many, so many people out there. Huh? Quickly, I'll tell you what is load balancer, right? So I'm little bit shy here because most of the people, they are experts in load balancer. You tell me whether I'm saying correct or not. Huh? Okay, fine. So I'll tell you directly here. Let's go and launch machines. Okay. Then here new people in AWS virtual machine. I'm not talking about here virtualization and all, but to just give you one small recap, online people, listen this carefully. Initially, we used to handle on-premises data centers. Initially, we used to handle what, Nana? On-premises data centers. Data centers meaning what? Server room. So we used to go and physically set up all the physical machines. But setting up the physical machine more and more will increase the space or not, and will increase the risk or not. And then just in case if one physical machine goes down, it is not that easy to go ahead and then recover or repair it. For that reason, why in which technology that we have moved? Virtualization. What we have moved on here? Virtualization. Online new people, see Nana, virtualization meaning here, you have one machine. Inside that one machine, you have what? Virtual machine. Inside one physical machine, you can create multiple virtual machines. Virtual machines also act like a server only, but it is not physical, it is virtual. Then you can ask, sir, how do we create virtual machines inside a machine? For that, you need to install a software. What is that software? Hypervisor. What is that, Nana, here? Hypervisor. So if you install can you tell me what is the software that you have, to install hypervisor? VMware. Which one? VMware. So we have VMware, Hyper-V, Microsoft Hyper-V is there. So once you set up that hypervisor, that means once you install it, you will, with that hypervisor, that technology, that software will help you to create what, Nana, here? Virtual machines. And each virtual machine has its own hardware, its own operating system, and its own application. New people. Okay, so assume that in one physical machine you have inside multiple virtual machines. Now tell me, if I want to purchase 100 machines, do I need to purchase 100 physical machines anymore? No. So what I need to do, I need to purchase only few physical machine, and rest all inside I'll create virtual machines. But the problem is, even though you have multiple virtual machines, Pusuk, if something goes wrong with this host machine, all my virtual machines are gone or not? All my virtual machines are gone or not? So for that reason, is it good that you handle this host machine? Online, new people, is it good that you handle this host machine? No. From now onwards, who is handling this host machine? AWS is handling it. For that reason, don't worry of the bottom part. Don't worry about the bottom part. What we need to create? We need to create virtual machines. What we need to create on here? Virtual machine. Our job is here in AWS to create what? Virtual machine. Do you need to worry about the host machines? Online, is this clear? New people? I need response from new people, please. New people. Okay, Nana, fine. So what I do is here, I created that virtual machine in AWS. We call it as EC2. What we call? Online, new people say that? EC2. Say that? EC2. What is full form of EC2? Elastic? Sir, Jujubi, sir. Elastic Compute Cloud. So Nana here, so what I do is here, I have set up this one EC2. EC2 is nothing but we call it as virtual machine also. And then what I do here, I have set up the application. What I have done here, I have set up the application. Online, listen carefully, new people. So I have set up the application. And for every application, for every EC2 instance, there will be IP address or not? For every server, for every device, there will be a IP address. Okay, now we have Pratiksha. She is she, right? Pratiksha. So Pratiksha, right? So you are there. You are my client. So I have given the URL to you like this. http://192.168.10.20/index.html. Now tell me, Pratiksha, are you interested to access your application using this URL? Tell me yes or no. Very good. As she is new, she is getting the concepts, right? No, because no one is interested to access the application using this IP address. So even though she is trying to access it, just in case if this server goes down, will this IP with this URL will work? No. So for that reason, what we need to set up? We need to set up something called high availability. What we need to set up? High availability meaning just simply go with the multiple machines. Now, how many EC2 instances are there? 3. How many EC2 instances are there? 3. So that means, do I need to provide 3 different URLs with 3 different IPs? So what I need to implement here? Load balancer. What I need to implement here? Load balancer. What this load balancer will do? Load balancer distribute the traffic to multiple EC2 instances. Got it, new people? So you try to access only load balancer. Load balancer will distribute the traffic to this, this, and this equally. What method it is using? Round robin method. What method? Round robin method. Got it, Nana? New people? That is what here we call it as load balancer. Okay, that is called here load balancer. Okay, now let's come back. So whenever Pratiksha is trying to access her application, which is the one which will hit first here? Load balancer. And load balancer will distribute the traffic to which servers here? Application servers. Which servers? Which servers? Load balancer is distributing to which servers here? But here, how many application servers is there? Only one. But you can have here multiple. The question here is, let me introduce something new here for you. What servers are these? These are application servers. And of course, backend what we have? Database servers. It can be one, it can be multiple. Yes or no? Which service? Database. Very good. Powerful. RDS. Okay. We have RDS. Okay, fine. Now, in our AWS, what we did, we have set up the load balancer. We have redirected to the application server. This is what we have done or not. But in DevOps, here I want to give you something extra. So previously, here what we need to do is we need to set up here what instead of exposing my application server to internet, I am introducing here what? Web server. Say that. Say that everyone. Online new people. Web server. What I'm introducing here? Web server. So this is web server. What the web server will do? Just takes the request from the client and then redirect to the application server. Just it will redirect. There's nothing. There's nothing here. Just what it does, it will redirect. Okay. So it will just redirect. So as I don't want to expose my application server to internet, so which one I'm exposing here? Web server I'm exposing. And which network you can keep it here? In the public network. So people will talk to whom first? Web server. Again, people will talk to whom first? Web server. That web server, can you tell me few examples of web server? Web server meaning you need to install some application, some tools or not. Here web server meaning here we have what? Apache. Web server here we have Apache. And also Nginx. Which one? This new one I'm introducing for you. Okay, Apache, Nginx, right? IaaS, no, Surya. IaaS will come under application server for Windows. IaaS meaning Internet Information Services. So that is for Windows. In Windows, if you want to deploy the application, so till now we are using Linux machines to deploy, right? If you want to deploy the application on Windows machine, mostly .NET applications and all, then you go for IaaS. What is that? IaaS. But here we are not talking about IaaS here. We are talking about mostly Linux-based applications. Which one? Tomcat. So here the takeaway for you here is, takeaway here is application server. Which software, which tool that we use here? Tomcat. Say that. Tomcat. Web server. Which software that we use? Apache or Nginx. So now here Apache. Here we can. Do you remember this? HTTPD. HTTPD we call it in Red Hat. In Red Hat, we use Red Hat operating system, right? So how did we install yum install -y HTTPD? Remember? So HTTPD the package name in Red Hat base, but in Ubuntu and all Apache 2. Apache 2. What is we call here? Apache 2. New things. Okay, fine. All these HTTPD, Apache 2, Nginx, all these things will come under which part here? Web server part. Both are same. Both are same. Only flavors are different. So HTTPD in Red Hat we call HTTPD. In Ubuntu we call it as Apache. These both are same. If you want to keep it, if you want to remove it, remove it. But sometimes in our DevOps we will install HTTPD also. Sometimes we use Red Hat machines. Sometimes we will use Ubuntu machines also. For that reason, I'm just keeping HTTPD. Okay, Nana. So, okay. So now tell me, clients will connect to whom first? Web server. Technically, web server is nothing but here EC2 instance or not? Web server is nothing but here EC2 instance or not? Is there any web server directly provided by AWS till now? No, right? As you are handling this Apache, Nginx, all these things in EC2, there is a chance that this EC2 will go down anytime. For that reason, we are not using that, and we are using instead of that, what we are using? Load balancer we are using. What we are using here? Load balancer. And load balancer is talking to whom? Web server. Load balancer is talking to whom? Web server. Now question for you here is, sir, what is load? Tell me what is load balancer? Which distribute the traffic to multiple servers. What is web server is also doing? Same thing? Web server is also doing the same thing or not? Yes or no? For that reason, people are not using web server. People are not using web server. So one our load balancer is enough or not? So load balancer is enough to distribute the traffic to the application server. But if we have a requirement, you can keep the web servers also. So how many web servers you need to keep here? How many web servers will you keep it here? Remember, one is always danger. Where is high availability? Minimum 2. Minimum 2. So here, so minimum web servers here, we need to put how many in here? 2. And that web servers can be in auto scaling also if required. Guys, whatever we have learned in AWS, I'm just putting enhancing on top of it. You're getting it? So here web server can be in multiple EC2 instances. Okay. So you understand here till now, guys? Online, everyone? So all the traffic is talking to whom first? Load balancer. From load balancer is go to the web server, and web server is going to the application server. Application server is going to the database server. How many layers it has formed? See, 1, 2, 3, 4 layers. Now here, based on the requirement, you can keep on increasing the number of layers. But if you're increasing the number of layers, latency will also increase or not. For that reason, people don't prefer to go here, web server. So what is the job of web server? To forward the request to application server. Similarly, our load balancer also forwarding directly to the application. But if you have a requirement to set up web server, you can set up. There is no issue in that. And we have a concept here. We call it as, we already done this too or not? We already work on HTTPD and Apache too. Remember? Nginx we have in touch. Where in AWS? In our DevOps, I'll be teaching you Nginx also. So Nginx is also act as a web server like Apache, and Nginx also work as a reverse proxy. What is that here? Reverse proxy. Nginx also work. Web server load balancer, you think as a same. Web server load balancer, you think as a same. What is the load balancer? It will receive what the web server will do. It receive and then send it to the application. So Nginx also will work as a reverse proxy. What is that here? Reverse. Same concept. All the requests will directly come to be with. Sorry, we no need. So this is getting complex. So web server, if you are preferring it, you need to install on the machine. Would you prefer, or will you choose AWS service load balancer? Obviously, simple as that. So because when you go for web servers, you need to maintain and manage it. But when you go to the load balancer, AWS will manage it. So here we have the load balancer, and in load balancer, from here it will goes to where here? Web servers. If required, you can put the web servers. And web servers will send the request to where? Application servers. No, this is all architectures based on the requirement. I'm just giving you the entire information. Based on the requirement, you need to just to go for it. It's not mandatory to go with the web server at all. But I just want to introduce the topic. I'm just introducing the web server topic here. Okay. So here also you can install Nginx. Nginx will also work as a web server. Nginx also work as a reverse proxy. Say that. Say that here. Reverse proxy. Reverse proxy meaning simple. We know web server, which is just distributing the traffic. What this reverse proxy will do is, reverse proxy will have the information about your application server IP addresses here. And it will just redirect to, it will also do the same work. But what is the difference between web server and reverse proxy? Not now. When I go deeper into Nginx, there I'll be teaching you the difference between web server and then reverse proxy. But here the takeaway here is, Nana, here either you can use web server or you no need to use the web server. If you want to use the web server, what we need to do here? You need to install Nginx or Apache. So generally in web server, I'll tell you what are the things that you can do. Your user interface, user experience, generally developers will do it here. Example, which one? HTML, CSS, JavaScript, all these things will come under web server. Web server, see, this is the web server, Nana, okay? It's a web server. So web server here will, it's also called it as presentation layer. What's that? Presentation layer. What it does, it will just show your application. That's it. Front-end application. What is it here? Front-end application. And this front-end will be developed by whom? UI, UX. Have you heard about user interface, UI, UX developers? They will be developing it. Okay. In which languages they are used? HTML, CSS, JavaScript, right there. So there's so many things, languages are there. Bootstrap is there, right? All these things will come under what on a web server. So basically, you have here, you have your front end in the web server. That is one job of web server. What we have learned till now, no need to confuse here clearly. What we have learned till now, web server takes the request and redirect to the application server. Actually, that concept is reverse proxy concept. What concept? Say that. Reverse proxy meaning it will take the request from the internet, from the customer, and then redirect to the application. Can you tell me here, web server, how does the web server know it has to redirect to the application server? That application server IP address will be there, no? That details we will configure in the web server. That is called reverse proxy. Nginx reverse proxy. Word reverse, huh? They named it as reverse proxy. And there is, yes, there is a concept for this. Reverse proxy is there also. Forward reverse is also there. So we'll talk in the Nginx concepts, right? So here, but you see, but here in web server, what I'm doing, I'm literally putting the application here. Application meaning front-end application. So this is acting as a web server. Actually, web server is where you are showing your application to the customer is here, web server. You understand there are two different functionalities here? You're getting two different functionalities? Again, I'm repeating. See, what we have learned before, what is web server? Which takes a request and redirect to the application server. What is that called? In Nginx language, we call it as reverse proxy. Clear that point? Second point. Second point here, web server, another definition here is, web server actually contains the website. In our previous thing, okay, see, this is the web server and this is the application servers. And this is a customer. Okay, customer will talk to whom first? Web server. Okay, I call it as here server 1, server 2, server 3. Okay, now where I have application? Where I have application, here or not? Here or not? Here or not? Okay, now EC2, EC2, EC2. Okay, what did I install here? What did I install here? Nginx. And why I call it as reverse? What is the job of? There is one conf file, he will be there. What file? nginx.conf file will be there. What file, Dana? In this nginx.conf file, you know what information it contains? It contains server 1, server 2, server 3. And what this will do? It will send to these things or not. Understood? Reverse proxy. Clear now? Clear? Online clear it is? Okay. So in this case, what I'm putting here, here we have customer. Customer will talk to whom first here? Generally in our previous concept, do you have any website here? It is receiving the traffic and just redirecting to the application server. What is that concept called? Reverse proxy. But here in this case, web server, literally I am putting what here? Content I am putting, website I am putting. What I am putting here? Website I am putting. What website enough? Front end website. Just only design. Front end application where the customer is able to see that. And that is getting connected to where in the back end? Application server. Fantastic. Now you got. This is the actual job of web server. Here we have what, Nana? This is called app server. This is called what? Web server. So this is app server. We call it as logical layer. What is it here, Nana? Logical layer. So here all our backend developers will work. Backend developer programming meaning what here? Java, Python, .NET, etc. And obviously in the backend, what we have here? Database. DB. You see the difference between these two now? This guy and this guy. Difference, there is two different or same? Different. This is reverse proxy and this is web server. You got the point? This is reverse proxy and this is web server. Clearer or do you have still doubt? Clear now? So because guys, in our previous classes in AWS, I just told you web server meaning just redirecting the application because on that day that was not important. Now, as you are jumping into DevOps, so we need more clarity on these things. That's the reason why I went and then showed you the clear difference between all these things. So here I'll be showing you practicals on this also and this also. If you need simple vibration, this is not required. Yes. Yes, what you said is exactly correct. It's purely depend upon the architecture. So guys, you can have application only here itself. Do we need any application server anymore? Not required. That is your requirement. So I'm just collecting the whole big requirements here. So whichever that you want to select it, you can pick it up inside it. Exactly. In my company, I have load balancer here. Do I want to expose my reverse proxy? Load balancer will send the request to my reverse proxy. Reverse proxy contains the information about my application servers. In the backend, what I have here, database server. Clear now? Good that you got clarity. Online, is it clear enough? Yes, Akhil, that we call it as API gateway. Remember API gateway? So that is an entry point from your, for your, what is that? API, application program interfaces, right? Online clear? Any doubts? Good. So, nice. So is it clear? And what we have learned today, the basics, we have discussed about client and then server, and then we have seen 1 tier, 2 tier, and then 3 tier architecture. So this is three-tier architecture. In this three-tier architecture, I have shown you the difference between web server and then reverse proxy. Clear now? And then new people, you know very well that when you're coming to AWS, we have a concept called region. What's the region? What's the region? Online old people, what is the region? Region is a place where AWS has its infrastructure. Yes or no? So here from now onwards, do we need to handle the data centers? Online new people, do we need to handle the data centers? No. Who will be handling the data centers? AWS will be handling the data centers. As AWS is handling the data centers, where exactly the AWS having the data centers in India? Mumbai and Hyderabad. And Mumbai is called a region. Hyderabad is called as a region. So in like this, how many regions are there? 33 plus regions are available in AWS. Online new people, it might be increased to 37 also. 33 and then 3-4 regions were in progress. New regions are coming up. Tell me here, what is a region? A region is a place where AWS has infrastructure or data centers. So what is a data center called? What data center called? Ammo, you need basics or what? Availability zone. What is that? Availability zone. What is availability zone? Availability zone is simply a data center. So can we say that a region contain availability zones? How many availability zones are there? Which is the region that we are using here? For example, Mumbai. So Mumbai has how many availability zones? 3 availability zones. What is the Mumbai region code? AP minus South minus 1, right? And then availability zones? 1A, 1B, 1C. New people, please, if you are having any questions, please let me know. Okay. So AWS is handling the data centers, and that data centers we call it as availability zone. Wherever the data center is located, that place we call it as region. A region has multiple availability zones. Got it, Nana? And now tell me, if you remember this diagram, this is a region. Inside the region, what we have? We have availability zones. So if you take an example of Mumbai availability zone, how many availability zones are there here? 3. We call it as 1A, 1B, 1C. So where do you go and launch EC2 instances? Inside the availability zones. So when you're launching the EC2 instance inside the availability zones, can they communicate with each other? Get a stick outside. Huh? Tell me here. Uh, no problem, Faizan. No. Okay. The question you might have not understood. See, I have one EC2 instance here. In which availability zone? I have another EC2 instance in 1B. Can they communicate with each other or not? Answer is? Answer is? Karthik. You are developing rockets now. You don't know what is fire. Okay, so guys, when you're learning too much, sometimes this will happen because this has happened with me also. I don't know whether I told you this or not. I was attending interviews so many years back. I was prepared like anything. And then he asked one question, my entire confidence lost. And he asked, for 1 GB, how many MBs are there? Huh? Do we remember 1024 or general will take 1000 MB? We said 1000 MB, right? I said 1000 MB, he said get lost. right? So for that reason, remember. So yeah, fine. Anyways, so here, new people, I'm just covering the basics very quickly, but because as I said, AWS will not be covered, but for new people, purposefully, this today's class, I'm covering the basics so that from tomorrow onwards, we'll be going to the as it is DevOps classes. Okay, so when you launch one EC2 instance here and another EC2 instance, they can communicate with each other because availability zones network are interconnected or not? Yes. Within the same region. Hey, you have launched one EC2 instance, one availability zone in Mumbai. And we have launched, remember, Bastion server. And we have launched a private server. They both communicate with each other or not? Yes. How do they? Because it's in the same region. Same region across availability zone, they can communicate. But if you have EC2 instance across region, will it communicate? No. What we need to set up? Peering we need to set up. Remember? Okay, fine. So online people, new people, you understand the concept here? So we are using the region. Region meaning is a place where AWS has infrastructure. We are using Mumbai, right? And in Mumbai, we have how many availability zones? 3 availability zones. When we go into the AWS console, we'll be launching the EC2 instance in 1A. We'll be launching EC2 instance in 1B, and we're launching EC2 instance in 1C also. Okay. Now you all understood what is region, what is availability zone, right? And then how many steps are there to launch an EC2 instance? 7 steps are there to launch an EC2 instance. Yeah. 1,000 instances. Mm, 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 mm. Okay. But do you have username and password with you? Yes or no? SSH. To SSH, you need to have username and password or not? Or else you need to have the PEM file with you or not? Do you have the PEM file? If you have the PEM file, you are the admin. If you don't have the PEM file, you should have username and password. I have 1,000 machines and I have allocated only machine to you, one machine. And if you do, you know the password of other EC2 instances? Of course, they can communicate, but you cannot connect. Okay. So, Siddharth, what is peering, sir? Don't worry. Don't worry about the peering. That's the reason why I said you should know AWS topics before coming to this class. As I said, this class is mainly for DevOps, please. I'm really little bit I'm not liking here because there are few students, new people are there. So for them, I think there it is going on top of their head because I'm just going to this basics very speed, not speed, but they should, you know, right? How we learn this in AWS, slowly, steadily. But today, as this course is DevOps, I should not spend more time on AWS. For that reason, I gave you the overview of it. From tomorrow onwards, we'll be going into the actual DevOps. Tomorrow, I'll give, and in our yesterday's class, what did we discuss? We discussed about the whole way of continuous integration process. Yes or no? CI/CD pipeline we have learned or not? Online. So, yeah. So in our yesterday's class, what we did? We have discussed about the CI/CD pipeline, how a developer will be connecting. So how he is pushing the code till how it is getting deployed to the end user. So all this entire pipeline we have learned yesterday or not, theoretically, right? And tomorrow I'll be going little bit more deeper into this CI/CD process. Today I have just covered the basics of what we need in the coming days. Okay, super. So I'll be stopping here. Uh, Let me take the questions because I'm interested to take the questions here because old people, this class is jujube for you. But I want to, please, new people, please ask questions on me on this class. Let me know whether I can help you or not. Sir, Ayappa, sir, don't know AWS eligible to this class. I would say, uh, see, uh, yes, I would say 80% no. Without knowing AWS, can you learn DevOps? Answer is no. That's why 80% I say no. And 20% you can continue the class because there is a tool called Terraform where you should know the concepts of VPC in and out. Remember the first day class on VPC, the steps, you should know the topic, right? So, but based on, guys, online people, if you start liking my classes, new people, what we can do for you is, I can take one Sunday the AWS topics, especially only for the new people, right? About the VPC. What is the only thing that we should know? We should know EC2, how to launch EC2, and we should know VPC. Only these are the two things that is required for the DevOps. So answer is Ayappa, you can continue the class. And people like Ayappa, if so many people are there, at least few people, I'll take a special class for you on Sundays, so that one Sunday, 2 Sundays is sufficient for me, so that I can cover how to launch EC2 instances and what is VPC, what are the topics it contains inside it. Okay, Nana? Very good, Ayappa. So from tomorrow, do we start Linux? Tomorrow, I'll teach you about another CI/CD process, and day after tomorrow onwards, I'll be going with the Linux. Yes, Dinesh. I am one of them, sir. No problem. No problem. So new people, don't worry. Don't fear. Ria sir is here. Hmm? For that reason, all the rest of the people are here, right? Online new people, please ask questions, Nana. My old guys, I'm sure that you don't have any questions because this your previous you are amazing, sir. Thank you, Hussein. Uh, any other questions? I'm waiting for your questions. Oops. V Krishna. I joined today, sir. I'm aware of AWS EC2 service. Very good. Will this DevOps course enough for getting me a job, or should I enroll in the 9 a.m. batch DevOps with AWS? How much does DevOps with AWS 9 a.m. batch cost? Does this course 9 a.m. batch and 7:30 p.m. batch teach us DevSecOps techniques? Is there any New Year discount available? 10 to 20%. Okay, so who is there? Krishna. So Krishna. Um, I understand he said that he know about the EC2 already. Okay. So the only one topic that you should know is VPC. There is a topic in AWS called VPC. People like you, I promise that I'll be teaching a separate day on the VPC topic. And if new people knows how to launch EC2 and what is VPC, what are the components that you have, and everyone will be equal. Everyone will be equal here. Only two things behind new people, two things are behind. Only one is EC2 and then VPC. And I'll be teaching you on Sunday on top of it. But if you ask me, is this enough to crack the jobs? I would say no. I would say no. Because in morning 9 a.m. batch, I will be covering full-fledged AWS, which is 2 months. And DevOps, 2 months. That is full-fledged course. And this course is mainly, I'm concentrating on DevOps only. Okay, na? See, it's up to you, V Krishna, whether you want to continue, you want to go with the 9 a.m. batch, or you want to come here. It's up to you. Sir, Ashish, EC2 we can create public or private? You tell me the answers. EC2 can we create public or private? Exactly. Exactly. So we can, EC2 instance, we can make it public also, we can make it private also. How? Whatever the new people questions are asking, I will divert to my old people. So you should be able to answer all those things. How? Okay, now my question here is online, my old guys. I want one EC2 instance in public. I want one EC2 instance private. How do you set up? I'm not. How? Hmm. If you remember, we have architected the VPC, public subnet, private subnet. If you are launching the EC2 instance public subnet, that will become public. If you are launching EC2 instance private subnet, that will become private. Simple as that, no? Why you are? Huh? Okay. Sir, I have been listening about Ansible. What kind of tool is it, sir? What is it Ansible tool, Nana? Configuration management tool. Yes. Yes, V Krishna, you can contact admin Nana Krishna for that. Okay, all right. So on what requirement we are creating public? Ashish, that is the reason why. If you're asking these questions, on what requirement we are creating public or private? All these things we have covered in AWS. This is the reason why I'm saying new people, it's better for you to go with 9 a.m. batch in the morning. I started only 10 days back. You can easily cope up there so that you will get end to end. So that I can concentrate this class only on DevOps. Any other questions? Dinesh, thank you, Dinesh. I saw your message. Okay, Nana. So, guys, fees, discounts, and all. You have your admin. Please talk with the admin. So your admin is Mr. Nikhil. Sorry, Akhil. Nikhil is a Big Boss winner, no? So, yeah, Akhil. Okay. So do you see this in the chat we have? So I'm just displaying that here number. Okay, this is his number. So please contact him. Super. Yeah. Fantastic, Nana. So from tomorrow onwards, there will not be any lag. Today I felt due to these basic concepts, I felt little bit lag. But tomorrow onwards, we'll be entering into the topics. So it doesn't matter, new or old. I'll be jumping into the topics. So tomorrow we'll continue the continuous integration CI/CD stuff. And then day after tomorrow onwards, we'll start Linux. So most of the people are asking for, sir, Linux, 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 Linux. Please do not miss the class from day after tomorrow. Okay. Tomorrow also is very important class. Okay. Tomorrow I'll give you the overview of the entire tools of DevOps. Okay. No, Hussein, you can cover that from recordings. Okay. Romba Nandri. Nice. Thank you. So can you give the final CC for today, please? Thank you for your patience and appreciate. Thank you for understanding me. And tomorrow we will jump into the actual topics. So today it just like covered the basics. Okay. So that's all. Let's connect tomorrow with the next powerful topic. Until then, take care, guys. See you tomorrow. Don't miss the class. Good night. Yes. Happy New Year.